My girlfriend said, I'm too young to be tied down. I need to explore my options. After 3 years together, I said, explore away. She came back 6 months later, ready to commit. I rejected her, saying, I don't need you anymore. And the chaos erupted. 3 years together, and that was how it ended. Over lukewarm coffee and a half-eaten croissant. Her name is Lena, 25, and I had been together 3 years. Met at a friend's game night. Hit it off immediately. She was funny, smart, gorgeous. And now, she was telling me she needed to explore. I remember staring at her, unsure if I'd misheard. Explore what, exactly? I asked. She wouldn't meet my eyes, just stirred her latte like it held the answers. My options, Ben. I've only been with 2 people my whole life. I love you, but I can't help wondering if there's something I'm missing. That word, missing, hung in the air, sharp and cruel. We'd just placed a deposit on our new apartment in Brooklyn. A sunny corner loft with exposed brick and enough space for her art studio. I'd spent weeks finding it, thinking I was building our future. Now she was dismantling it with a few careful sentences. You think you're missing something, I said slowly, but you don't even know what it is. She sighed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Ben, I'm 25. I don't want to wake up at 30 and realize I never lived. You're wonderful, seriously, you are. But I need to figure out who I am before I settle down. Settle down, as if I were a cage she needed to escape from. I wanted to be angry, but mostly, I just felt hollow. So you want to break up, to date other people? She nodded, still avoiding my eyes. We can stay friends though, who knows? Maybe, when I've had time to grow, we'll find our way back. I laughed, then, short and bitter. You're not putting me on a shelf, Lena. You walk away now, that's it. No rewinds. Her eyes widened, like I'd said something unreasonable. Ben, you're being dramatic. People take breaks all the time. This isn't a break, I said. You're ending us to go see what else is out there. Don't pretend it's something noble. She reached for my hand, but I pulled it back. There was a long silence, just the low hum of espresso machines, and the faint chatter of strangers who didn't know my world was collapsing. I stood up, tossed some bills on the table, and said the only thing left to say, go explore, Lena. I hope you find what you're looking for. I walked out before she could reply. That night, I called the landlord and cancelled the lease. Lost my half of the deposit, but it felt like buying my own freedom. I blocked her on everything. No long texts, no dramatic goodbyes. She wanted to see what life was like without me. She'd get her wish. The first few weeks were quiet, painfully quiet. No messages, no updates, just the hum of my refrigerator and the weight of a silence that used to be filled by her laughter. I tried not to check her social media, but curiosity always wins the first few battles. Turns out, Lena was doing great. At least, that's what her photos said. Brunches, with strangers, rooftop parties, nights out in Manhattan. Captions about rediscovering herself. Every post felt like a tiny knife, twisting. I muted her accounts and threw myself into work instead. Days turned into weeks, then months. I started running again, joined a local basketball league, even picked up guitar lessons. Slowly, the ache dulled. The thought of her no longer came with that hollow pain, just a quiet understanding. But peace never lasts long. One cold Sunday morning, 2 months after the breakup, I got a text from an unknown number. Hey Ben, it's Tessa. Can we talk? Lena's not doing well. I deleted it without replying. 5 minutes later, a LinkedIn message popped up from Lena's sister. Hey, hope all's good. Are you going to Mark's birthday? Lena mentioned you guys were taking space, like it was a casual pause between breaths. Then came the coincidences. She started appearing at my favorite places, the coffee shop near my office, the farmer's market, even the same aisle at Trader Joe's. The first time, I brushed it off. The second time, I got suspicious. The third, I confronted her. Pretty high odds, huh? I said. Since you suddenly started liking this store after calling it overpriced hipster nonsense. She smiled awkwardly. People change. Yeah, I said, pushing my cart past her. Some people grow up. Others just circle back. That was when I realized she hadn't moved on, she'd just expected me to wait. What she didn't know was that I'd already started rebuilding my life without her. And that life was starting to feel pretty damn good. But as I'd learned soon enough, Lena wasn't done with me. Not even close. The first sign that Lena's exploration wasn't going as planned came in the form of a knock at my door one Thursday evening. I'd just gotten back from basketball practice, sweaty, exhausted, feeling good. When I opened the door, there she was, hood up, mascara smudged, clutching one of my old Columbia hoodies like it was a lifeline. "Ben," she said softly, "can we talk?" For a moment, I just stared. The last time I saw her, she'd been glowing under neon lights in some rooftop bar photo, drink in hand, a new guy's arm around her waist. Now she looked small. "No," I said finally. "We don't have anything to talk about." "Please," she whispered, stepping forward. "Just 5 minutes. You had 3 years, Lena." Her lips trembled. "I made a mistake. I thought I needed freedom, but all I found was emptiness. I dated, I went out, I met people, and none of it meant anything. I was stupid. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. And now I'm supposed to fix that for you." She shook her head, tears streaking down her cheeks. "No, I realized you're the one I want." I laughed quietly. "You realized that after trying everyone else first. That's not fair." "No, what's not fair is you walking away when I was ready to build a life with you, and then showing up months later because you got bored." "I thought you'd wait," she said, voice cracking. "You're patient, Ben. You always understood me." "I used to," I said. "But that version of me doesn't exist anymore." When I told her I was seeing someone a lie, at the time her expression shattered. "Who?" she demanded. "For how long?" "It doesn't matter," I said. "What matters is that I moved on just like you told me to." "I didn't mean it like that," she pleaded. "I wanted you to be here when I came back." And there it was, the truth. She hadn't wanted to lose me. She just wanted to put me on pause until she was ready to resume. "Go home, Lena," I said quietly. She didn't. She sat down on the hallway floor. "I'll wait," she said. "You'll see we're meant to be together." I called building security. Watching them escort her out while she cried about true love was surreal. I stood there in silence, numb, until the elevator doors closed on her face. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. The next day, she showed up at my office, told the receptionist she was my girlfriend and had come to drop off my medication. When security called me down, she stood there holding a paper bag from our old sandwich place. "You forgot your lunch, babe," she said, smiling like nothing was wrong. "She's my ex," I told security. "Please escort her out." "Ben, don't be like this," she said, eyes wide with desperation. "We need to talk. Not here. Not ever." She screamed my name as they led her outside. My manager pulled me aside afterward. "Everything okay at home?" "Ex-girlfriend." "Won't happen again," I said. It happened again. 2 days later, a huge bouquet of roses arrived at my desk. The card read, "For my soulmate, always yours. L." I dumped the flowers in the break room for the admin staff. Then came the social media storm, new accounts popping up daily. Comments on old posts, messages like "remember this," and "still think about you." One night, my buddy Trevor texted me screenshots of an Instagram story. She posted an emotional essay about losing the love of her life to pride. "She's lost it," Trevor said. "Want me to respond?" "No, ignore it. The less we feed it, the sooner it dies," I replied. But Lena wasn't ready to let it die. A week later, she called my mother. My mum phoned me that evening, her voice tight with confusion. "Honey, Lena just called crying about how you won't forgive her. What's going on?" I told her everything. The breakup, the stalking, the unannounced visits. Mum was silent for a moment, then said, "So she dumped you to go party, and now she's mad you won't take her back?" "Pretty much." "Well," Mom said briskly, "I liked that girl once, but hell no. I'll handle it." The next day Lena's mother called me, furious. "How dare you turn your mother against my daughter?" she yelled. "Lena made one mistake. You're destroying her. Ma'am, your daughter made her choices. I'm making mine. Please stop calling me. You'll regret this," she spat. "She was the best thing that ever happened to you." "Then why did she leave?" Silence. Then, "You're a cold, heartless man." "No," I said. "I'm a man who knows his worth." After that, the phone calls started, different numbers, different voices. I'd let them go to voicemail, then save every one for evidence. "I can see your light on," one message said. "That blonde from your basketball team, is she your new girlfriend?" "We're meant to be together, Ben. You know we are." That one chilled me. I called a police officer I knew and filed a harassment report. They told me to document everything. So I did. Every text, every appearance, every voicemail. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. But Lena wasn't ready to give me that, either. The night it all exploded started like any other Friday. I had my first real date since the breakup with Claire, a woman from my coding course. She was calm, smart, unpretentious. We were halfway through dinner when she leaned forward and whispered, "Ben, there's a woman at the bar staring at us." I turned round. Red dress. Familiar eyes. Lena. She raised her glass in a mocking toast and began walking toward us. My pulse spiked. "Ben," she said sweetly, "what a coincidence." "You need to leave," I said firmly. She smiled at Claire. "Oh, I'm Lena, his girlfriend, well but not for long." Claire blinked. "Excuse me." Lena kept going. "We've just been going through a rough patch." "He'll tell you, that's enough," I said, standing up. Claire laughed nervously. "Lady, I don't know what your deal is, but this is sad." Lena's face twisted. "You don't know anything about us." "I know he blocked you," Claire said evenly. "And I know you've been stalking him." That hit a nerve. Lena lunged for my phone, knocking over a full glass of red wine all over Claire's white blouse. The restaurant went dead silent. "Ma'am," the manager said sharply, "you need to leave." "I'm not going anywhere. This is my boyfriend." I corrected. "And you're trespassing." "Call the police." They arrived within 10 minutes. Lena tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, but the scene told its own story. She wasn't arrested, but they gave her a criminal trespass warning and told her to stay away as they escorted her out. She screamed, "This isn't over, Ben. We're meant to be together." Claire squeezed my hand gently once the chaos settled. "Wow," she said with a half smile. "That's one hell of a first date." We grabbed pizza afterward. She even made a joke about it. Guess only quality guys attract stalkers. That devoted. Dark humor, but I laughed. I needed to. The next morning, I filed for an emergency restraining order. It was time to end this for good. 6 months later, I got a message. Her name lit up on my screen like a ghost I didn't expect to see again. "Hey, can we talk?" For a moment, I just stared at it. Not with anger, not with longing, just quiet disbelief that she had the audacity to come back. She said she'd needed time to find herself, but what she really meant was, she'd gone looking for something better and hadn't found it. We met at a cafe downtown, the same place where we'd had our first date. She looked different, older somehow, not in her face, but in her eyes, like someone who'd learned too late that freedom can be lonely. She smiled nervously, stirring her coffee. "I've missed you," she said. "You look good," I replied. She talked about how she'd been on dates that went nowhere, how the people she met only wanted something shallow, how she realized that what we had was real. Then she reached for my hand. I was confused back then, but I know what I want now. I want us again, and I'll admit hearing that stirred something in me. The part that remembered laughing with her, the quiet nights, the road trips, the good parts, but then I remembered everything else, the way she left, the way she made me feel like I wasn't enough, the way she made freedom sound like my prison. So I looked her in the eyes and said, "I'm glad you found what you needed, but I'm not your safety net. You wanted to explore, so keep exploring." Her smile broke. She blinked back tears. "You're serious?" "Dead serious," she whispered. "I thought you'd be waiting." I stood up, left a few bills on the table, and said, "That was the old me." As I walked away, I didn't feel anger, just peace, because sometimes the best revenge is not bitterness or payback, it's simply moving on without them. A week later, she showed up at my apartment. It was raining hard, the kind of rain that makes the whole city sound like it's sighing. I opened the door, and there she was, soaked, shivering. "Can we just talk?" she pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," I said, but she stepped inside anyway, dripping on the floor, clutching her phone like it could save her. She told me she'd made a mistake, that she thought she was missing out on life, on possibilities, that she wanted to travel, to meet people, to feel free. And she did. She traveled, she met people, she went to parties, posted smiling photos, captioned them with new beginnings, but underneath all of it, she said, she felt empty. "I kept comparing everyone to you," she whispered. "You shouldn't have to compare," I replied. She started crying, then really crying. Not the pretty kind, the raw, broken kind that comes when you realize you burned the only bridge worth keeping. "Please," she said through tears, "can we just start over?" And for a moment, I wanted to say yes, because the truth is, I did love her once, but I also knew what that love cost me, my peace, my focus, my self-worth. So I said quietly, "You wanted freedom, and I gave it to you. But freedom isn't free, costs you something. For me, it cost my heart. For you, it cost us." She just stood there, staring, like she wanted to turn back time, but didn't know how. Then she nodded slowly, wiped her face, and left. I never saw her again after that. No calls, no messages, no late night "I miss you," just silence. And in that silence, I found something she never did: peace. Months passed. I moved apartments, started running again, learned to cook something other than instant noodles. Every once in a while, I'd catch a glimpse of her life online. She looked happy at least on the surface. New cities, new faces, same captions about living her truth. But I didn't feel anger anymore, just distance, like watching a movie. I used to know by heart but no longer cared to finish. People say time heals everything. That's not true. Time doesn't heal, it teaches it. Teaches you what to hold on to and what to release. It teaches you that some goodbyes are mercy, disguised as heartbreak, and it teaches you that love isn't about possession, it's about peace. One night, I walked by that same cafe where we last talked. Inside, a couple was laughing, hands intertwined, eyes full of the kind of comfort we once had. And instead of feeling loss, I smiled because I realized something. The real win wasn't getting her back, it was getting myself back. The old me would V begged her to stay. The new me just wishes her well and keeps walking. Freedom, it turns out, isn't found in someone else. It's found in the moment you finally stop waiting for them to come home. And that's the quiet kind of revenge, not the loud, vengeful kind. The kind where you rebuild in silence until the person who broke you realizes we're never theirs to lose.